जयो कुञ्ज बिहारी गोपीजनवल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय गोपीजनवल्लभ जय गिरिवरधारी यशोदानन्दन व्रजजनरञ्जन यशोदनन्दन व्रजजनरञ्जन जमुनातीरावनचारी जमुनातीरावनचारी जय राधा माधव कुञ्ज बिहारी जय राधा माधव जय कुञ्ज बिहारी जय गोपीजन वल्लभ जय गिरिवरधारी जय राधा माधव कुञ्ज बिहारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय राधा गिरिधारी श्री राधे जय राधे जय राधे जय राधे जय श्री राधे जय गिरि गोवर्धन गिरि गोवर्धन जय गिरि गोवर्धन जय जगन्नाथ जय बलदेव जय सुभद्रा जय गौरानिताई जय गौरानिताई निताई गौर हरि बोल निताई गौर हरि बोल जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय गुरुदेव जय जय गुरुदेव निताई गौर प्रेमानंदी हरि हरि
हरि
बोल
हरि बोल।
जय श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय
जय। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाभूतलेशं हरे कृष्ण दास गोस्वामिति नामने नमो हम सनिकसाय प्रभुपाद प्रियाय तेषु चिच्छुरि निस्ताभ्यं तस्य वाक्य निवारिणे नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाभूतलेशं हरे गोस्वामिति नामने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशधारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्री प्रसाद गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. Hare Krishna, everyone. Just starting with the verse. Sudushkaram karma kritva loka palerapi prabhu Aishyati achirato rajan yasho vipulayam stava. Would anyone else like to read the Sanskrit? Recite the
Krishna,
Sanskrit.
can I try?
Yes, Mataji.
Shudushkaram karma kritva lokapalairapi prabhu vaishyatya chirato rajan yasho vipulayam stava. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Can I try, please?
Yes, Mataji.
Shuduskaram karma kritva loko palir opi prabhu aishatta achirato rajan yasho vipulayam stava. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Anyone else would like to try?
I'll try Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Okay, Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Suduskram karma kritva loka prari api prabhu aishyasti achirato rajan yasho vipulayam tava. Thank you.
So for word-to-word translation, sudushkaram, impossible to perform, karma, work, kritva, after performing, loka pale, by great personalities, api, even, prabhu, quite competent, aishyati, will come back, achirata, without delay, rajan, my dear king, yasha, reputation, vipulayan, causing to become great, tava, your. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. My dear king, your son is very competent. He will perform activities which would be impossible even for great kings and sages. Very soon he will complete his task and come back home. You should know that he will also spread your reputation all over the world. Purport. Here in this verse, Narad Muni has described Dhruva Maharaj as Prabhu. The word is applicable to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Sometimes the spiritual master is addressed as Prabhupada. Prabhu means the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and Prabhupada means post. According to Vaishnava philosophy, the spiritual master occupies the post of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or in other words, he is the bona fide representative of the Supreme Lord. Dhruva Maharaj is also described here as Prabhu because he is an acharya of the Vaishnava school. Another meaning of Prabhu is the master of senses, just like the word Swami. Another significant word is Sudushkaram, very difficult to perform. What was the task that Dhruva Maharaj undertook? The most difficult task in life is to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and Dhruva Maharaj would be able to do that. We must remember that Dhruva Maharaj was not fickle. He was determined to execute his service and then come back. Every devotee, therefore, should be determined that in this life he will be able to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and by that process, go back home, back to Godhead. That is the perfection of the highest mission of life. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Sarasvatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udiraye. Shrinvatam Swakatha Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtanam Hridyantastohi Abhadrani Vidunoti Suritsatam Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shlokir Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. So just 2 points that I'd like to draw upon from this purport. And first is the importance of spiritual master, and second is the importance of determination. And before we begin, the first point that I'd like to discuss is as to how this term Prabhupada came. And for that, I would like to refer to this article from Back to Godhead. I'll just share screen that as well. The word Prabhupada So this article was, I think, in 1968. The word Prabhupada is a term of the utmost reverence in Vedic religious circles, and it signifies a great saint, even among saints. The word actually has two meanings. First, one at whose feet, pada, there are many Prabhus, a term meaning master, which the disciples of a guru use in addressing each other. The second meaning is one who is always found at the lotus feet of Krishna, the Supreme Master. In the line of disciplic succession through which Krishna consciousness is conveyed to mankind, there have been a number of figures of such spiritual importance as to be called Prabhupada. Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada executed the will of his master, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and therefore he and his associate Goswamis are called Prabhupada. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur executed the will of Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur, and therefore he is also addressed as Prabhupada. Our spiritual master, Om Vishnupad 108, Sri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, has in the same way executed the will of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada in carrying the message of love of Krishna to the Western world, and therefore we American and European humble servants of His divine grace from all the different centers of the Sankirtan movement have followed in the footsteps of Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada and prefer to address His grace as spiritual master as Prabhupada, and has kindly said yes. So in 1968, when Srila Prabhupada first came to US, everyone was referring to him as Swamiji. And then in 1968, in a letter to his secretary, he said that the correct way of addressing him would be Prabhupada or Guru Maharaj. So through this, the most appropriate way would be to address him as Prabhupada. So through this, Srila Prabhupada was teaching his disciples and us as to how to address and give respect to the spiritual master. Just at the beginning of every like class or anything that we do, we always say Om Gyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. So for that verse is that I was blinded in the darkness of ignorance, and through the torchlight of knowledge, my spiritual master opened my eyes. So the significance of Guru is that the Guru takes away the ignorance of the disciple and brings them to light. And it is because of this ignorance that the individual is suffering in the material world, but they fail to realize it. And the spiritual master, the Guru, helps us to get rid of this suffering by the torchlight of knowledge and present this torchlight of knowledge in front of us who are enveloped in this darkness. And this torchlight of knowledge is Srila Prabhupada's books and also the Srimad Bhagavatam. And even in the Gurava Ashtakam, the first line, Samsara Dava, the first verse, Samsara Dava Nalalita Loka, Pranaya Karunya Ganaganatam. So the spiritual master is receiving benediction from the ocean of mercy of Krishna, just as a cloud pours water on a forest fire to extinguish it. So the spiritual master delivers the materially afflicted world by extinguishing the blazing fire of material existence. And also the spiritual master is just blazing the fire of the ignorance of material existence. And they receive this mercy through Krishna to be able to do this. Also just as in the other article as well, how the author laid out from where like Srila Rupa Goswami, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Srila Prabhupada, so the spiritual master comes in the disciplic succession, and even in this Gurava Ashtakam from stanza 1 to stanza 7, all the different qualities of the spiritual masters laid out, such as he's gladdened by the movement of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He himself is engaged in deity worship, and he also engages the disciple in deity worship of the temple. He also engages in in helping out the transcendental pastimes of Krishna, and so on and so forth. And then in line 7, we are also, it said, Sakshat Dharit Vena Samasta Shastre, Yukta Satabhavyata Eva should be. So the spiritual master is honored as much as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as he is is to be honored as much as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as he is a confidential servitor of the Lord, who is and this fact is acknowledged in all revealed scriptures and followed by all authorities. So all of these verses and prayers show us the importance of the spiritual master, and also the correct way to address and reciprocate with the spiritual master. And just in yesterday's class as well, Amarendra Prabhu was speaking about how Prahlad Maharaj asked Narasimhadev for a benediction for service and association of devotees. And then when Narasimhadev asked, why are you asking this? This bit I'm paraphrasing, but the super soul is always within our heart, watching us eat the fruit, like the two birds in a tree analogy. But the super soul does not liberate us. Only the external manifestation of the super soul and the Supreme Personality of Godhead, which is the spiritual master, has the potency to liberate us. So this is just the points that I had for the Supreme Personality, for the spiritual master. And moving on to the second point, determination. So in this purport here, Narad Muni is glorifying Dhruva Maharaj, as he says that he is determined to do something which is very difficult, which is sudushkaram, and this thing which is sudushkaram and Dhruva Maharaj is very determined to do is pleasing the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as a result of which he is glorified by Narad Muni. So this and there's also another point in the purport that Dhruva Maharaj was not fickle. He was determined to execute his service and then come back. So this serves as a reminder for us to be determined in our devotional service. And in order to be determined, there is a prerequisite, and that prerequisite is faith. And this is to have sufficient faith in the process to have determination, and even in the 9 stages of devotional service, Shraddha, faith comes first. It's essentially the starting point, but it's not that it's like a cascade that, okay, we finish with Shraddha, then we move on to Sadhu Sangha, and then so on and so forth. In each of the 9 stages of devotional service, although from Sadhu Sangha to Prema, this faith gets stronger and stronger and stronger until it gets to Prema, and at that stage, the faith is basically 100%. So it's essentially perfect in itself. So this determination comes from faith. Taking this example in a material world perspective, if we are studying, we may be absolutely hating what we're studying, but we have faith that, okay, at the end of this, I can get a good job, and then move on the corporate ladder. Even in the corporate world as well, we would be absolutely hating our jobs, but still we are determined to continue, because we know that eventually we can move up and get to a position a position that we would be satisfied with, a good position in the company, and a good position materially as well. And just another point is that Dhruva Maharaj's determination went through several tests and tribulations too. So first was by Narad Muni, who asked him to have a playful childhood and just let go of what his stepmother and father have said, and just go back and just play and do what generally 5-year-olds and young kids do. But Dhruva Maharaj said that if he was a Brahmana, he would be following that advice. But because he's a Kshatriya, he is determined to do what needs to be done to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead and get an abode greater than that of Lord Brahma. So in terms of also determination, I think we've all heard of the story of the little sparrow whose eggs were taken away by the ocean. And when that little sparrow came up to the ocean, she was determined and she said, drop by drop, I'll take up everything until you don't return my eggs. So, and all other little birds came and said, okay, you won't be able to do this. Look at you, you're very tiny and the ocean's very big. But she still kept on, she was still determined to get the eggs out of her ocean and say this. And because she did this, she attracted the mercy of Garud, who then retrieved the eggs from the ocean with his power. So the final point is that if we have determination, then automatically the mercy will follow. Yep. So those are all the points that I had. Is there anyone else that would like to add anything or any comments?
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
thank you for the short class, very encouraging. Young speakers coming online to give a class.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for encouraging.
Yes, yesterday we also learned that the spiritual master is one who's very close, and he is the one who takes us back to Krishna. And as you mentioned, that Paramatma is residing within the heart, but he doesn't help; he just witnesses and guides. But it's the external manifestation of Paramatma, the Guru, which really takes. Brings the disciple to Krishna's lotus feet. It's a very important point. I think that's mentioned very nicely yesterday in comparison to like Hanuman taking the ring from Lord Ramchandra to Sita. Ram could have done it, but Hanuman is compared to a spiritual master who delivers the disciple. So yes, your explanation of the term Prabhupada is so nice, and she done nice research to elaborate on that aspect. So nice, thank you.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Anybody else got comments? Please come forward. We should encourage youngsters.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, if you allow, I can say something.
Yes, why not?
Just expanding on the point you mentioned just now, how Super Soul is there and he's watching us and he's guiding us. He gives, intelligence as well, and he's waiting eagerly that this soul will come to devotional service. So he's actually, Super Soul is waiting for the living entity to take that decision. But in case of Srila Prabhupada and Acharyas and our Guru Maharajas, they themselves travel and reach out to living entities, like our Reach Out program. Srila Prabhupada left India at age 70 and came to Western world to give Krishna to everyone and perform his pastime within 10 years. So many establishing 108 temples, writing over or nearly 80 translation of big scriptures, and it's amazing. And we have seen Guru Maharaj and other Guru Maharajas as well. They just reach out. They are just traveling, reaching out. So they are taking many extra steps to engage living entity and give Krishna to everyone. Like in case of Mrigrari,
The hunter.
Mrigrari the hunter, Narad Muni, he himself came. And then in case of Valmiki Muni as well, we see that. And in case of Dhruva Maharaj, as we are discussing, Narad Muni is upfront. I mean, his Dhruva Maharaj is determined, Super Soul is there. Super Soul is definitely guiding, but Super Soul is sending his pure devotee to the disciple. Thank you very much, Prabhu.
Krishna Kanta, can I ask one question?
Okay.
Can you elaborate on the point determination, because you did mention that there have been lots of examples, but how to actually stay determined when we see all odds in life?
I think to stay determined is just to have faith that at the end of all of these odds, whatever the outcome will be, it'll be good. So essentially, the underlying factor of determination is to have faith. Even in the material world, I'm repeating this point. Even in the material world, we have this determination that, okay, if every day if I go and I do this same thing, at the end of it, the outcome will be good. Okay, eventually someone will see our efforts, give us promotion, or this, that. Like there's always that faith. So yeah, just with the underlying factor for determination, but just to have faith that, okay, at the end of this, the outcome will be good. That's all I can think of.
Can I add some point here? Determination.
Yes, Mataji, please.
We also see in the Prahlad Maharaj how he is determined to get Krishna. Always he is having so much troubles from his father, but still he is determined. Even also in material world, when we are studying, we are getting degree, we have to be determined to get the degree. I have to read carefully, sincerely, seriously, and we have in mind that we will get the result. So in this way, we have to fix, means we have to fix our mind. What important. And Prahlad Maharaj, we have seen Dhruva Maharaj. We are all seeing the devotees, Srila Prabhupada. So yeah, determination is the very good point, and you discussed very nicely. Thank you, Krishna.
Also, when we think that I have to do it, like as you said, like even if we don't like it, we have to do it. But do you think we last long on this have to factor?
Either we can last long on the have to factor through that practice makes perfect, or repetition of one thing eventually makes you perfect at it. Or if we don't last long, then at least we will gain some skills from it, which we can use to do something that we're happy in doing.
Yeah, even Krishna consciousness means in the beginning, it is bitterness, but if we daily practice, then we find that nectar. So same way. We have to do it.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Very good, explanation. But can I add something to it?
Yes.
Actually, this Shraddha and this confidence, they are all interrelated. So it follows one another, and that becomes stronger, pakka, by the association of the devotees. The more we associate with the devotees, and we see the examples day in and day out, and then it becomes our confidence more and more pakka, and that way we can grow stronger and stronger. All the examples in Bhagavatam and in Bhagavad Gita, they show the same thing. So they are all interrelated. That's what I want to say. Thank you for your good, speak. It's nice that you have taken this step. See, your determination has come up to this stage that you can speak. Initially, it was not, but slowly, by seeing, by associating with the other devotees, it has come to a point that you can speak now. And you have done very well. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, can I add something, please?
Hare Krishna, yes, please, Prabhuji.
Well done, beta. Keep it up.
Thank you.
I just want to add on determination a bit on it. The whole pastime of Dhruv Maharaj is an example, extraordinary example about determination. Even if personality like Narad Muni tried to discourage him, send him back, but he had his goal and he wanted to do it regardless of whatever comes. Remember, he tells, politely tells Narad that if you can help me, please do so. But if you're not, then go your way. And I also want to add that whether it is in devotional service or anything, you will get obstructions. And we must be prepared for it, or must be prepared for it, because life is not plain sailing. If it was, it would have been very boring. And we should not get discouraged by obstacles. It will come our way, whether in devotional service or material life. And we have been going back in material life. We have been achieving our goals slowly, or some people do it straight away. So life is not easy. We must be prepared for it, and don't get discouraged. If the obstruction is too big, get help of your spiritual master, your guru, and senior devotees. But don't think that there will be no obstacle. Life is not that plain sailing. Otherwise, would have been in Vaikuntha. That's the only place where there's no obstructions. That's all I can add.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
प्रभु आप म्यूट है हमें सुनाई नहीं दे रहा.
Oh, sorry. Thank you, everybody, for this contribution. Just like to add the last point and determination. As Prabhu just said, we need some examples, role models, and we don't have any lacking in this respect. We have Srila Prabhupada, all the acharyas, and we have exalted devotees like Prahlad Maharaj, Dhruva Maharaj, some determination. So there's no lack of motivation, examples, or leaders to motivate us in this way. So yes, this is very nice aspect of bhakti, determination, dharya, and patience, enthusiasm. These are some of the aspects which can sort of catapult our spiritual progress. Thank you very much. Anybody else? Last minute, we got quite a bit of time. If not, then yes.
Just Prabhu, recently we've been through some personal situation. I don't want to mention that, but I have come across from senior devotee